What's up guys, today we're going to be unboxing the Asus Zenfone 9. Very excited to do this unboxing here. Probably one of my, most anticipated phones this year. And let's go ahead and get started here. This one I got for $750 after taxes, like $800. It is a flagship compact phone here. And yeah, I'm really excited because I'm a big fan of smaller devices. This one looks like it actually might have something in the box. See, you got a booklet, SIM card. You get it looks like a little gel skin case. Oh no, it's not gel skin. It's a hard plastic case. Okay. It doesn't seem to offer that much protection on the front though. This is the white color. It's more kind of like a cream kind of color. Take the sticker off. And the back on here, really nice texture, but before we get to that, let's go ahead see what else we got. Oh, they actually throw in the charger in the box, which is pretty interesting. So the charger in here is a 30-watt charger, and then of course it is USB type C as well too. So the unboxing experience much better than we got iPhones coming next month, and you'll see that we get literally nothing but a cable. This one at least came with a case and the charger in the box, which was nice. Alright, so this guy has a polymer back on it as well too, and it's just got a almost like a sandpaper kind of texture to it, which is really nice here. And so far it's just small. It's really easy to hold in the hand here. Got some massive cameras on the back here, very big. Sensors here, dual camera setup here. Let's see what else we got. Power button, volume rockers. There on this side. It's almost kind of like, I wonder if it can stand up. Not quite. Oh, it actually can. Yeah, it's got like these almost flat. Kind of reminds me of like an iPhone 4S. And then, boom, the headphone jack is up top here, which you do not see at all on new phones these days. So let's go ahead and boot it up. We'll get into all the specs and stuff like that. But so far for the hardware, really nice. It's IP68 dust and water resistant on here as well too. And I believe this is Gorilla Glass Victus as well here. So build quality, man, this is a very solid and very nice looking phone here. Guys, so my first impressions of the screen, it's very easy to one hand. It does have a little bit more bezel than you would find on like most flagships here. It is a completely flat display as well too, and it is a really beautiful panel here. One of the things I noticed with this screen in the settings is that this is like the only screen setting that can actually go ahead and choose a 90 hertz option. So usually it's 120 hertz or 60 hertz, or if the phone is 90 hertz, you can go down to 60. But you never see that. You never see the 90 hertz option on 120 hertz phones. So this will allow you to save battery life, and you can have that 90 hertz on there. I thought that was awesome. I think every 120 hertz phone needs to do that, just to give you that option if you want, a little bit more juice. So this phone has a Super AMOLED display. It's 120 hertz. It's HDR10 plus. It gets to 1100 nits peak brightness as well too. It's at 5.9 inches, and it's a 445 for the PPI Gorilla Glass Victus. You can see the punch hole on the left hand side. It's a beautiful display. It is very sharp to the eye, so icons and everything looks really sharp. Content on here looks really great, and it's bright enough for me outdoors. I went out and took some photos, had no issues with the display on here. So it's a great display, but I was more interested in how comfortable the display is. So even compared to a phone that I think is like somewhat compact, it's even more comfortable than the iPhone 13 Pro here, which we could get into a comparison. Let me know what comparisons you guys want to see. I already got some requests, but it's even more comfortable than this phone, the 13 Pro, because This has a smaller 5.9 inch and that has a 6.1 inch. So I really like the 6.1 inch form factor. It's very easy to hold without, you know, your hands feeling strained, especially if you have smaller hands. So anybody who is looking for a phone and you want a flagship quality phone that is just going to be super comfortable, very small, then this is going to be great for you. And not to the point where I wouldn't say, if you guys want the wallpapers, it's in the link down below. I wouldn't say that it's like small to the point where the content doesn't look that great, right? Like you're watching videos and stuff like that. Because even when I pull up, you know, a video, I think the screen is still big enough, right? It's still big enough to enjoy your content. So I really like the display size on here. I think that's one of my favorite things about this phone so far. Now this phone is running Android 12 with the Zen UI, and it's basically almost kind of like stock Android. ASUS throws in like some settings and stuff like that that we will dive into a little bit more in depth. I'll make a tips and trick video for this phone. But you can see it's really like mirroring stock Android here. I really like the audio wizard feature on here as well. But it's really close to stock Android. So one of the things you have to know about ASUS phones is that they typically get like 2 years of major OS updates and then security patches. Hopefully, if this phone sells enough, we'll get that, you know, that 3 years of major OS updates as well too. You can see the system modes here. I can go put it on high performance if I want to, but we'll keep it on. And it gives me options to save as much power as I want to as well too. So there are some really cool little software features in here. There is a one-handed mode, but like I said, the one-handed mode isn't really necessary on here because you know, it's just small enough. You can see all of our toggles here. So I really like how they really just left it alone, right? And they just kind of, just sort of like a stock experience, even down to what's installed on here. You don't have a ton of ASUS apps and stuff like that like you would find on Samsung phones. There's like ASUS data transfer, and I can't really find anything else. I think Instagram, I did not install that. Facebook Messenger didn't install that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think those are apps that people would typically install anyway, but yeah, I didn't install those. Also guys, let's talk about the specs a little bit more here. So I ran the Geekbench scores. We do have the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 processor in the Adreno 730. No SD card support. If this phone had SD card support, I think it would put it over the top. You also have 128 gigs of internal storage and 8 gigs of RAM on here as well too. Alright, so performance wise, just using the phone, it's just a really bouncy and fast phone. There's nothing slow about this phone at all. This new 8 Gen 1 processor is just super fast here, even when it comes to just a little bit of gaming, and I will drop a full gaming test for you guys. But just gaming on here, you get some, of course, the highest settings. I mean, it's the latest chip right now. So actually, let's go to like Battle Royale. That'd be better. As you guys can see here, if I go ahead and open the graphic settings, I believe we can play this at the highest FPS as well too, as you can see. So this thing just plays extremely smooth. Like I said, I will go ahead and drop a gaming test for you guys. There's also a game mode on here as well too. If you guys can see that, I can go ahead and just get to my quick settings real quick and, you know, just go ahead and mess with stuff, which is really nice. So it's very convenient to have this right here. You have a speed up, all that good stuff. Very easy to access. So this will be able to play games at, you know, a very high settings with no issue. So that's one of the things that I really like. And one of the questions that I got was, well, is the gaming experience good, you know, with such a smaller display? Me personally, that's something that you would have to, you know, see for yourself. But I usually typically like to game on phones that are smaller. I think they're more comfortable to me. And so this is like a sweet spot as well too. It's just very comfortable to sort of, you know, just access all the buttons. I don't do a ton of, you know, phone gaming, but I do like, you know, like the smaller screens for it. But yeah, this is gonna play games great, and I'm really watching the heat on here as well too. So far, just using the phone, it's warm, but it hasn't got really hot yet. So I'm curious on how this 8, you know, Gen 1 Plus processor, how's it gonna do for long periods of gaming. It's just something we're gonna have to see. But so far, it's just warm. It's nothing out of the usual when gaming. So let's talk about your additional features here. So this phone does have some pretty impressive stereo speakers on here as well too, guys. Really good bass quality. ASUS always has some really great speakers in all of their flagship phones, by the way. Just super heavy bass on here as well too. Really well balanced speakers here, and like I said, that audio wizard, you can go ahead and sort of get it to sound how you want with the presets. Game mode on here. Yeah, so the speaker quality is just really nice, very detailed bass on here. Just an excellent sound. I think anybody would be happy, even if you cover this one up. The top speaker still puts in a good amount of work. Vibrations are pretty good on here as well too. The fingerprint scanner is actually in the power button right here, as you can see. You also have the ability to do face unlock, but this is just extremely easy and convenient to open your phone like this. So I've always loved this method of getting into your phone. But like I said, you do have that face unlock as well. This phone does have NFC as well. And then you also have the headphone jack. Not a lot of phones have a headphone jack these days, so that is awesome. If you're a die-hard headphone jack person and you need one, this is just going to be awesome experience for you. Now, it just doesn't stop there. This phone has some pretty impressive cameras. So it's got a dual camera setup, a 50 megapixel standard, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide. It can shoot an 8K 24. And then you also have a 12 megapixel selfie cam on here that shoots in 4K 30 on here. First off, the software is really nice as well too. Almost reminds me of like you know, the stock Google app. But let's talk about these photos. So these images come out really crispy, really nice. It kind of reminds me of the Pixel phone, so I'll compare it to the Pixel 6a, but I was really impressed with image quality on here. Just tons of detail with that 50 megapixel lens on here, so that's not an issue. Like I said, dynamic range is good. The color science is pretty good. It's almost gives you like a natural kind of color, and then it gives you these nice vibrant shots. The selfie cam came out really great as well too. It got my skin tone pretty good as well. Yeah, I just love the cameras on here. Just super crisp and clear cameras. Even does a pretty good job even in a lower light setting. You're still able to get some really nice crispy shots with this phone here. So I think image quality is definitely great on here. Flagship level quality as you would expect. And I'll also let you guys see the video as well too, so you can get a feel for it. Alright guys, here is the video on the Zenfone 9. It's a little rainy outside here. Here's our 0.6, and this is just full HD. So, what do you guys think? Now let's talk about the battery situation on this phone. This phone has one of the highest rated batteries for especially this size. This has good battery life in general, so I will personally be putting this to the test. I'll even do a drain test on this phone because I'm extremely curious, but just using the phone and watching how it drains and stuff like that, I can definitely see, I mean, it barely moves, right? For this size phone, it's really surprising. So just reading about this phone and watching other people, yeah, this phone has really good battery life, but I will let you guys know and do a drain test for this phone. It's got a 4,300 milliamp battery, 30-watt charging on here as well too, and then you have the reverse charging functionality that you can do on here as well too. So yeah, the battery situation is great, but like I said, there's no wireless charging on this phone, oddly enough, so that's kind of weird. But like I said, the 30 watt is decently fast, but if the battery life is actually good on this phone, like everyone says it is, then that's exceptional, because most small phones have terrible battery life, especially if they're an Android phone. So that is pretty much it, guys. Really impressed with this phone, is definitely a top quality, high quality phone. Be sure to let me know, what do you guys think of the Zenfone 9, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.